Hi, friends. This is Alyssa from Teacher Mom Life. I'm going to do a quick recording on virtual kindergarten graduation. My kiddos are watching Onward in the background, so full disclosure, interruptions are expected. But I had seen a lot of kindergarten teachers just worried about this end of the year magic. And I understand. It is a huge heartbreak that you had all these plans that we didn't get to the magic of the end of the year. So hopefully sharing these ideas at least take some of the stress of where do I get started off of your brain. I have done this multiple times because I have been teaching kindergarten. I've been teaching virtually or at a hybrid school for 12 years. Most of my time has kindergarten. My kiddos don't have a graduation. We have kindergarten migration because we learn about monarch butterflies at the end of the school year, and then they migrate to first grade. So that's just my theme for the graduation. I'm going to give you just the bare bones idea of how you can do this virtually. And then, of course, like all things teaching, you can add the magic to it. You can make it match your classroom theme or whatever you traditionally do. So here is how I hold virtual graduation. The first steps is I choose a time to meet online, which seems so basic, just like you would choose a time face-to-face. Check with my administrator and everybody, see if they can come. Then I create a flyer or an image because if you're doing this online, you are going to have to put it in front of them all the time. I have found the best way to motivate families or some of those reluctant guardians is to get the hype factor going with your littles. So if your kindergartners are excited about this, think about when your children are excited about something. They are not going to stop bugging whoever they need to help them. So I like to just create an image and then share it at the beginning and end of each class. Ask kids to raise their hands or type in the chat box if they're going to be coming, and start hyping it up every chance you get, because that's what you need to get the buy-in to get other people to participate. Then I created, and this is up to you, you know your school's rules as far as inviting people, inviting outside people. If you use Zoom, you can do it in that. If you use other live formats, whatever you have set up for your live classes with your students, Google Hangouts, whatever it may be. Personally, I created tinyURL, and you just Google tinyURL for my students to share. That way it's really easy. It's always like tinyURL and then some version of kindergarten graduation, your school name and the school year. Whatever it makes it easier for them to remember. That way you don't get 100 questions asking them how they can invite grandma. And then what I do ahead of time is I ask families to share a picture of the student and type in the body of the email what the student wants to be when they grow up. And then I say, who's sent their picture to me? And I give them a shout out for sending their picture already, and remind friends at the beginning and end of each class. Kind of like hyping up an event, to be honest. A little bit of event planning going on here, which we do that as teachers anyways. You just don't have the benefit of them being stuck in your class and being forced to do it. So now your job is to make them want to do it. Then for the actual ceremony, I create a PowerPoint or a YouTube video where I share pictures and memories throughout the school year. We go through that. We watch it together. I like to embed a poem throughout my pictures, or you can just read a poem or a story afterwards. And then for the actual ceremony, what I do is I create one slide for each student. I put their name on it. I put their picture, what they want to be when they grow up. If it is a student who hasn't sent a picture, then I might just put up a picture that I already have that I've taken, or clip art, something really cute. And then you can leave blank what they want to be when they grow up, because this is where you let your students participate. And this is where you know your class too. I let my kiddos hop on the mic and share what they want to be when they grow up, and share it with their friends, and then everybody gets to clap and kind of cheer them on in the chat box. So here's my sample slide. And super simple. So the student's name, future superhero. This is actually my little guy and what he wants to be when he grows up. And you have a picture or multiple pictures. I mean, you have whatever. I mean, you don't have to use this setup, but it's really easy to put together, but it's memorable, it's sweet. You can even send these slides to them individually afterwards. And then a little bit extra you want to do is at the very end, I invite the first grade teachers to come. They introduce themselves, they welcome them. I can't wait to have you in my class next year. We're going to learn about XYZ. And then after it's over, I email them a certificate. See, now my youngest is playing with blocks. After it's over, I email them a certificate, just like you would give them face-to-face. If you want to mail them, you can. That depends on class size or budget. For me, I usually just make it a JPEG, which is like a picture file. That way parents can share it on social media or get it printed out if they want. And I just email it to my students one by one. You can email them a copy of their slides. If you have permission to share your kids' pictures on the internet, you can make a YouTube video to email to them afterwards. So that's where you kind of have your creative license for whatever you do to make magic.